Hey everybody, welcome to the Drama Recap channel. Today, I'll be showing you a recap of a 2008 American sports drama titled The Wrestler. But be warned, this will contain spoilers, so watch out and take care. The movie begins by showing numerous 80s magazines covers, articles, and posters all featuring a famous wrestler named Randy the Ram Robinson. In the present, it's now 20 years after the height of his glory, and Randy is now an old man. He receives his pay after finishing a small wrestling show in a school gym, giving autographs and being friendly to his fans on the way out. He goes home to a trailer park only to find his trailer has been locked. He tries to wake his landlord, but to no avail. So he is forced to sleep in the back of his van that night. Randy is old, he needs to take some medication and uses a hearing aid. Age is quickly catching up to him. The next morning, he plays with the neighborhood kids before asking his landlord to unlock his trailer. His landlord refuses to do so before Randy pays his rent, indicating that this has happened multiple times already. So, Randy goes to his day job stacking boxes at a grocery store and asks the manager for some more hours, though not on the weekends as that's when he wrestles. The weekend comes along and Randy arrives at a local auditorium to get ready for another small wrestling event. He greets his co-workers for tonight, wrestlers who are mostly much younger than him. The promoter announces the fight lineup, and then the men start discussing how their fight will go, lining up their strategies to put on an entertaining fight. After all, pro wrestling is staged and designed to please the crowd, not a real fight. Randy also plans his fight together with a young wrestler, agreeing that Randy would be beaten up before eventually having his winning comeback. The fight starts, and towards the end, Randy uses the razor that he has taped to his wrist earlier to cut his forehead, making it seem that he's more hurt than he actually is. Randy makes the comeback and wins the match, to his fans' delight. Backstage, he gets treated by a medic when he receives his meager pay. His promoter wants to hold a big 20th anniversary rematch of Randy and his legendary opponent, the Ayatollah. Their match in the 80s was historical, and the promoter thinks that it can help Randy's name return to the spotlight once again. Afterwards, Randy goes to a strip club to ask for a dance from a 43-year-old stripper nicknamed Cassidy. He seems to be a longtime customer of hers as he tells her about his match earlier, and about the scars he received throughout his years as a wrestler, and how he's excited for the rematch with the Ayatollah. One day, we see how Randy prepares for his matches. He bleaches his boots at a salon, goes tanning, buys some equipment from the dollar store, and buys performance-enhancing drugs in the gym locker room. He injects himself with it in the bathroom before working out. Later, Randy is preparing for another match where his opponent's signature move is using a stapler gun. The match was hardcore, involved barbed wire, staple guns, and even glass. After the match, Randy and his opponent are being treated, but it's too much pain causing Randy to gag. He still doesn't feel good even after everyone has already left. Randy walks towards his locker but throws up and passes out on the floor. When Randy wakes up, he learns that he had a heart attack and needs bypass surgery. His doctor warns him that his heart would give out unless he stops the drugs and wrestling altogether. He takes his belongings and signs the hospital papers, receiving the money he won from the match. He returns home after finally paying his rent and goes to rest for a few days. Randy tries taking it easy by playing an old game with one of the neighborhood kids and trying to go on a light jog. However, even that causes his chest to hurt, making him realize how bad the situation really is. Randy is lonely, so he goes back to the strip club to tell Cassidy about his heart attack. They talk in his van, Cassidy breaking the club rule of not meeting customers outside of the club, and Cassidy suggests that Randy should try reaching out to his estranged daughter. He says that she hates him, but eventually agrees to try. The next day, Randy tries to call his daughter, but when she's not answering, he comes over to her house. His daughter, Stephanie, wants nothing to do with him because he was an absent father who never made time for her when she was young. Randy returns defeatedly to the strip club to tell Cassidy about what happened, and she offers to help him buy a gift for Stephanie on the weekend. They go to a thrift shop together and Randy picks out a shiny green jacket with an S on it before they leave. Outside, Cassidy reveals that she has a 9-year-old son, and Randy persuades her to have a beer with him by giving her an action figure for her son. They talk and dance before Randy kisses her. Initially, Cassie returns the kiss before suddenly pulling away and leaving the bar. Sometime later, Randy waits for Stephanie to come home from campus to give her the present. She looks confused, but Randy says that her real present is to go with him to their supposed favorite place, which she doesn't remember. Stephanie eventually agrees to go and they come to the boardwalk in New Jersey, where they used to come when Stephanie was a child. The two talk and Randy apologizes for being a bad father, begging in tears for her to not hate him. Stephanie seems to be touched by the apology as they spend the rest of their time dancing in an abandoned building. Then, Randy takes her home and asks to have dinner with her sometime, which she agrees that they can do on Saturday. A few days later, Randy goes to a small meet and greet for past wrestling stars where only 2 of his fans show up. He looks around the room at the past legends, now old and frail, and rethinks his life choices. Randy decides to call his promoters to cancel his show as he is retiring from wrestling. He also goes to work to ask for more hours, and his manager gives him a position at the deli counter on the weekends. Randy is initially uncertain as he wears a hairnet and apron to prepare for his new position, but once he gets into it, he seems to be having fun while serving customers. One night, Randy comes to the strip club to give Cassidy a thank you card. Seeing where this is going, Cassidy says that there is nothing between them and they can't go out because he is a customer. Randy thinks that she also has feelings for him, lashing out and insulting her before the bouncer presses him to leave. Needing a break, Randy attends a wrestling show that he used to participate in and congratulates the wrestlers afterwards. The others urge him to go drinking with them, so he heads to the bar where a young blonde fan of his flirts with him. She persuades him to do some drugs and have sex in the bar's bathroom. The next morning, Randy wakes up in her house before coming home and sleeping until late at night. When he wakes up again, he realizes that he missed his dinner with Stephanie the other night and immediately rushes to her house. He tries to apologize for his mistake, but she is in tears, saying that she waited for him at the restaurant for 2 hours. She proceeds to lash out and throw things at him, and even after he tries to calm her down, Stephanie says that she doesn't care about him anymore. She tells him to leave and to never show up in front of her again. The next day at work, Randy is obviously agitated with a lot going on his mind. He gets frustrated after a customer says that he looks like an older version of the Ram, and accidentally cuts himself on the meat cutter. The customers panic, causing Randy's manager to yell at him. Randy yells back and says that he is quitting, making a mess at the counter before leaving the building. Afterwards, he calls his promoter to say he wants to do the rematch with Ayatollah as his final match. Preparing for the big event, Randy bleaches his own hair, puts on a spray tan, and wears his old signature necklace. He packs up his bags and is about to leave on his van just as Cassidy arrives at his trailer. She apologizes for what she said to him the other day, admitting that she does have feelings for him, but she has work boundaries that she can't cross. Randy just smiles and gives her a flyer for his match, telling her to come and watch him wrestle before driving away. Randy arrives at the arena and greets Ayatollah, whose real name is Bob, and catches up with him. He discusses how the match is going to go with Bob before waiting for the match to start in his waiting room. Meanwhile, Cassidy is working at the strip club, but she doesn't seem that it's right. She suddenly walks off the stage, puts on her clothes before leaving, despite her manager calling out to her. She drives as fast as she can to the arena and manages to go backstage just as Randy is about to enter the stage. She urges him not to do it because of his faulty heart, and she's there because she wants to be with him. However, Randy says that the world outside of the ring doesn't care about him and that he belongs to fight in the ring. As the crowd chants his name, Randy enters the stage to bask in his glory while Cassidy watches from backstage. Before they begin the match, Randy gives a speech to thank the fans for supporting him. He says that he has lost his loved ones and ones who loved him because he lived this life the hardcore way. Though everyone says that he won't be wrestling again, he's here to prove them wrong. The match finally starts and the crowd goes wild for the 2 old wrestlers. They fight like hell until Randy starts to feel winded, prompting Bob to check on his condition. His heart is giving out as he keeps falling over, but Randy keeps pushing the limits. He looks over towards the backstage but can't see Cassidy there, so he steals his resolve to make his match truly his final one. He wants to die from the match, and as his heart is about to burst, Randy climbs to the top rope to prepare for his signature finisher move. The movie ends with Randy jumping from the rope before the screen turns black. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And if you have a movie you'd like us to recap, let us know in the comment section below, because we would love to hear it. And until then, we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.